Will Levis is the future of the Tennessee Titans, and nobody saw it coming. Don't tell me you were one of the people to believe in him, because he was the most hated prospect in the whole NFL draft whenever he was coming into the league. Now, before we dive into how Will Levis is being pegged as the golden boy of the Tennessee Titans and could potentially end up being the franchise guy, let's go back to his high school days, all right? So, Xavier, he was an absolute beast at Xavier and would show off his really strong arm very, very often, probably to try and pick up some girls, which did end up working, but um so after getting looks, he was pegged as a 3-star recruit who was very raw and needed time to develop, but could end up becoming one of those guys that, looking back, you would think were 4 or 5-star recruits. And after he had people like Florida State and Ole Miss knocking on his door, asking him to come play for the for their college football team, he would end up committing to Penn State. And at Penn State, he would barely get on the field, but every time they did, he would show off how fast he was for a quarterback and how physical he could be in the run game. And he would show off that really strong arm of his. But like I said, he did not get any playing time because old man Sean Clifford stole it all from him. And he he ended up transferring out of Penn State and trying to go commit to Kentucky after hitting the transfer portal. And his time at Kentucky was really weird. I'm going to break it down into 2 years. Year 1 was very confusing, to say the least, cuz like he would have moments where he would look like he is the best quarterback in the nation and can pick a team up, put him on his back, and go win the game only because of Levis. Or he could look like NFL Ryan Leaf, who was dragging down all the talent around him and would end up losing the game for his team. And he would be the only reason that they lost. But people were expecting him to take that next leap the next year. All eyes were on Will Levis as he advanced into the next year. And everybody was thinking, oh, he's going to go into like his Aaron Rodgers form. He's going to throw very little interceptions, going to throw a high amount of touchdowns. And he did not. He actually stayed in the exact same place and may have gotten just a little bit worse overall. But nonetheless, he was off to the NFL draft. And everybody, or every one of the quote unquote draft experts, was saying that Will Levis was the future of whatever franchise would be oh so lucky to get their hands on him. And honestly, as a Titans fan, I thought that that was a load of crap. I thought that it was ridiculous that people were pegging Will Levis as a dude that could be great in the NFL, because I was thinking, what are these people seeing? He wasn't good in college. He's not going to be good in the NFL. But nonetheless, he was looking like he was going to be guaranteed a first round pick. He was going to be a first round pick guaranteed. And that's what I thought, even though I didn't like him as a prospect, until that one draft day came. And he had one of the biggest slides in NFL history after being projected to potentially go to the Indianapolis Colts in the first round within the top 5, and even being rumored to go number 1 overall by the Panthers. He ended up sliding in to day 2, where he would end up being the biggest storyline of day 2 of the NFL draft. And my gosh, that was like, there were so many big storylines at that time. Like, everybody was just like, where's he gonna go? Is he gonna go to, a team like let me think, like Minnesota, that's not been bad enough to go up and get a QB of the future, but is also not good enough to go win a Super Bowl because they just have that one quarterback away mentality. But the Tennessee Titans would trade up and end that entire conversation whenever they went and they got Mr. Will Levis. Now, as a Titans fan, I was livid. Let me tell you that much. Like, I remember I was at a party, I was having a fun time with my friends, and then some kid walks up to me, a Chicago Bears fan out of all things, walks up to me and is just like, I'll never forget this. Hey, did you see the Titans? They drafted Will Levis. You see? They traded up. And I'm just like, and I just scream out loud. You've got to be kidding me. You cannot be serious. And I put on a good face for the rest of the night, but whenever I got home, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. Something that my podcast would not tell you whenever I was trying to be positive about him. But anyway, that draft day was over with, and he went into training camp. Hopes were all on the table, and then he got outperformed by Malik Willis in the OTAs. And everybody was thinking, oh, he's a bust, because they were trying to hop on the Levis hate train. And then training camp came along, and he got injured within preseason week 1. But people forget to talk about how Levis actually did have some pretty good moments during training camp. It's just that OTAs were so bad that they kind of overshadowed some of the stuff they did in training camp. So do with that what you will. But anyway, there was no hope for Levis. He had been injured, and he was at the bottom of the depth chart, the third string quarterback. Basically, Ryan Tannehill would have to get injured, and Malik Willis would have to get injured just for him to even sniff the field. And it looked like there was no hope for Will Levis to become a solid starter until week 8 rolled around. And week 8 was one of the biggest weeks in Tennessee Titans football. Ryan Tannehill had gone down the week before in London against Baltimore and was ruled out. Against the Atlanta Falcons. And you know how some teams run a running back by committee type of deal with 2 different play styles of running backs? So the Titans tried to do that, but with their quarterback room. Yeah, don't ask about it. Vrabel did some really weird things whenever he was head coach. But anyway, after a botched snap from Malik Willis, Will Levis got the job, and he did not look back. In that game, he threw 19 of 30 with about 240 yards in the air and 4 touchdowns. Looked like a seasoned vet out there and looked completely unstoppable as he showed everybody why he was considered a potential franchise quarterback. And after that game, he had some solid moments. It was never the 4-touchdown madman that we saw that week, but he had some very good moments and showed flashes of potential greatness, like against the Miami Dolphins. And now we sit at today, where some people are trying to make rumors about Russell Wilson becoming a Titan. I don't see it, but now the future and the history of the Tennessee Titans has its eyes on Will Levis. Now that starts with going to get a great head coach. Bobby Slowick is probably the favorite and will probably end up getting the head coaching job. And if he's good and the Titans can get an offensive line around Will Levis and they can get a receiver core to where he doesn't have to wait for 5 seconds in the pocket for one person to get open, the future is bright for the Tennessee Titans. Anyway, that's going to do it all for today's video. This is a new form of content that I'm trying out just to see how it will work with the audience. I hope y'all liked it. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. Peace out, fellas.